Hello guys, and as always, thank you very much for joining me in this video. I really appreciate the fact that you take time out of your life to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. If you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button, and also guys, hit the like button, as that really helps. So to get to the point, I want to invest in Renault, the stock, the company. How that led me to this idea is basically what this video is about. If I can summarize what led me to invest in Renault, guys, is the fact that in Europe right now, right, the European continent right now is basically a monopoly. If you don't live in Europe or you're not searching for a car in 2024, you might not notice what is going on, but it's basically a monopoly between the German automakers, the French automakers, on the Italian. So French, Italian, German, they basically have a huge monopoly and a huge grip on the cars that are being sold in Europe. All right, before I go on with really good info on why Renault stock makes a lot of sense, let me talk to you about Bull Market Watch. Talked about ZAP since last year, this year, people have been getting in and out. Even on July 5th, 2024, again mentioning ZAP. Trust me, many times on the Discord, it was $4.07. Well, days later, it went to $18.54 yesterday. It reached as high as $18.54, so that's crazy. If you want to join Bull Market Watch, not just for day trades, guys, and not for short-term quick trades, but also for long-term growth, also for tools to use on your own to trade better, such as dark pool, holds, FDA approvals, SEC filings, insiders, unusual options, and all sorts of things, you can join any of these if you want. There's a $5 one, a $9.90, and a $17.90. Over 1,000 traders would be very happy to see you in our community. So I'm very bullish in France, guys. All right, if you thought that was weird, it was very weird, very strange. That was Emmanuel Macron, the French Prime Minister of France. The Prime Minister of France? Yeah, that was weird. Anyways, not investing in that guy. I'm talking about Renault. So Renault, guys, ticker symbol RNLSY, right? That's the ticker symbol, trading at $10.60. Now, because Renault is heavily, the biggest, is heavily controlled, and the biggest investor in Renault is the French government, you will not see Renault on the US stock market. It is trading OTC, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, companies like, what else? Roche, which is one of the biggest pharmaceutical giants in the world, is OTC. So it's trading at $10.60. You're looking at the max lifetime chart, but if you look at the 1 year chart, it's up 27.48%. Why is Renault making a U-turn and going up? Because it's now profitable. And there's a reason why. The monopoly. Like I said, it's pretty much the German and the French massively, those two, who are dominating the EU market. The European Union has passed regulations in such a democratically sneaky way, which is making it extremely hard, guys, for any foreign companies, car manufacturers, to actually sell cars in the European Union. Forget about China, which they're getting hammered with tariffs from the European Union, so that's hard.
You know, somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems.
Basically, right? Also, Mitsubishi, which is a Japanese automaker, one of the best, or used to be one of the best, but they still, I like Mitsubishi. I think they're very reliable. Guys, Mitsubishi can no longer sell cars in Europe because it doesn't make sense anymore financially for them according to the new EU regulations and so on. So what Mitsubishi has resulted to is basically going to Renault and saying, hey, Renault, you know, I want to sell cars in Europe. You make that Renault Captur and the Renault Clio, for example, and basically, why don't you just change the logos? Take, you know, from the car Renault Clio, take out the logos, put my Mitsubishi logo on, and we'll figure out something financially that works for both sides. And that's basically what, you know, if you're going to buy a Mitsubishi in 2024, you're buying a Renault. That's it. But besides that, let's talk about Renault, guys. So Renault engages in the design, manufacture, sell, repair, maintenance, and leasing of motor vehicles in Europe. It also engages in the design, production, and parts and equipment used for manufacturing and operation of vehicles. They also sell globally, guys, in Africa, Middle East, in China, and so on. In fact, with China, Renault has a partnership with Geely, which is a huge EV maker. But Renault also has its own pure play EV car company called Ampere, which I could care less about that right now because EV car sales are going down globally, so that's not my point. The point is that Renault has turned to profitability. Why? Like I said, the EU dominance between them and the German automakers, plus Renault's Dacia brand, which they had purchased from Romania many years ago, and Dacia has become one of the top best-selling cars in all of Europe. Because basically, guys, if you want a 4x4 gorgeous-looking big SUV to buy as a European at prices that are relatively okay, reasonable, well, it's only the Dacia Duster. That's basically it. Everything else is over 30,000 euros, like over 35,000 US dollars. You could get the Dacia Duster starting $20,000, and at 24,000 or 24,000 bucks, you could get a Dacia Duster that's 4x4. Another thing to think about, guys, is that the stock, Renault stock, is undervalued. So it has turned to profitability. It is the sales of cars, and I'll show you in a little bit also in a pie chart, for Renault are going up through the roof since 2023 and 2024. So when I went to search for a car to buy, guys, I said to myself, okay, I looked at all the brands. Every brand you can think of that is available to be sold in Europe. I looked at all. I looked them all, and I got prices and offerings from all the dealers and all that stuff. And I quickly came to realize,
I want a fucking car right fucking now.
The top three automakers who are dominating the EU market, like combined 70% in sales or more, are Stellantis, Volkswagen Group, and Renault. Now, Stellantis has these brands. So you have, by the way, Stellantis trading on the market. And I already talked about Stellantis before we went public. I did a YouTube video, and I also did a YouTube video when they were 14 bucks, 11 bucks, and so on. Called it a buy, and it's over 20 now. But Stellantis, guys, has these brands, right? They have the Alfa Romeo, they have the Fiat, the Jeep, and all this stuff. So they got all these brands under them. If you're a EU citizen, the average EU citizen does not have a ton of money to throw in a car. They can't afford even a $35,000 euro car, right? They can't. The average EU citizen is looking at cars anywhere from, unfortunately, 15, because you're going to get a crap car now at $15,000 brand new because the prices have gone up. But anyways, from 15,000 euros to 25,000 euros is basically where the average EU citizen is looking at to buy a car. So you're going to look at, a brand maybe like a Fiat, which sells in that bracket. Jeep sells in that. Opel for sure. Citroen. Peugeot, yes. Who else? So yeah, the rest are expensive, to be honest. If you go to the Renault group, guys, so you have the Renault vehicles, which they offer budget vehicles. They have also Nissan. Now, Nissan, in cooperation with Renault, because again, EU regulation, all that stuff, is slowly pushing even Japanese automakers out of Europe. Nissan has partnered with Renault for some years now, and basically Renault is the Nissan cars come with Renault engines. Mitsubishi no longer provides their own made cars, their own made engine cars, and all that stuff in Europe. They are you're basically buying a Renault inside and out with a Mitsubishi logo out. Nissan, Mitsubishi, and then Dacia, which is, I'll show you in a little bit. And then they also have, well, they used to work with Lada. This is the Lada symbol, which is a Russian automaker, but that's banned from being sold in Europe anymore. If we look at Volkswagen Group, guys, nobody can, buy a Bentley or a Bugatti or a Scania or a Lamborghini, right? Not even an Audi anymore, nothing. So people are going to look at Seat, which offers cheaper alternatives, Skoda, and Volkswagen, those three, right? Looking at the best-selling car manufacturers in Europe for 2023, there's more to it, but I basically put it in a chart here for you. Not me, actually. ChatGPT did it. I put the information. I was like, "Yeah, can you come up with a pie chart for me based on this information?" And here it is. So you look at Mercedes-Benz, 5.7%. Not many people can afford a Mercedes-Benz. When you look at BMW, 7.4%. Not many people can afford a BMW. So it's a 7.4% of the market. What people can afford, though, is cars from Stellantis, cars from Renault, cars from Volkswagen. So Volkswagen, Renault, Stellantis. I hope I'm not getting you confused. Those three car makers are EU car makers who offer combined tons of vehicles, like over 30, 40 different models. They offer them in the 19 to 25,000 euro range. most of Europe is going to go to that. So when we look at the pie chart, you can see that 26.8% of the cars sold were from the Volkswagen group, 17% from Stellantis, and 10% from Renault. So if Renault is selling 10%, why not go and invest in Volkswagen? Well, I already talked about Volkswagen last year, and I said it's an investment, but forget about it. And I already talked about Stellantis at $14 and called that a buy, and even cheaper than that. And I called that a buy. So I'm not going to talk about that. Now we're going to cover Stellantis. I'm sorry, Renault, guys. Renault. So looking back at this pie chart, guys, it makes a lot of sense to understand something here. Renault, guys, is basically the third largest automaker in selling cars in Europe. But Renault, in my opinion, could easily take more chunk, maybe even out of Stellantis, but definitely probably I think it can bite more from the rest here, from Hyundai, which has a really bad reputation after 5 years. The rest is, guys, look, Nissan, Nissan has a 2.4%, but guess what? Nissan belongs to Renault. So it's with Renault, right? So we can keep that. Mitsubishi has a 0 point something. That's also with Renault. So basically, I mean, kind of, Renault is not really 10%, but 12%. They're getting close to Stellantis. Stellantis, though, why do I believe that Renault has a better chance of an investment now than Stellantis? Well, Stellantis stock has already run up to 20, but Stellantis also has huge problems with their cars, and I'm going to avoid buying a Stellantis vehicle for the reasons that their PureTech engine that they used since 2021 sucks really bad. Stellantis, which Italians will get the PureTech engine? Should we be afraid? Stellantis in trouble. Legal battle over the 1.2 liter PureTech engine problems. Also the 1.3 is a problem. Same thing, it's a PureTech engine. Legal battle looms. PureTech engine scandal also affects Luxembourg car owners, and blah blah blah, historic failures with the PureTech engine. Personally, for me, I'm not interested in Stellantis because of their engine, which they use in all their vehicles. Whether you buy a Jeep, a Fiat, and so on, you're just basically buying what you see with your eyes on the outside. The rest is all one thing. Stellantis PureTech engine, the same engine in all the vehicles, components and all of that stuff. Because I told you guys earlier about the Dacia Duster, which is the top selling SUV in Europe from 2023 and in the year of 2024 so far. Guys, this vehicle is huge. It's a huge vehicle. It's a 4x4 and the only 4x4 huge gorgeous looking SUV that you can get for 24,000 bucks. In Europe, the rest go over 30, 31, 32. Renault has returned to profitability and improved margins to record levels, guys. Now, Renault also gives an annual dividend of 40 cents. I get it. Who cares? It's a small one, but whatever. It is good. If we look at the earnings, they were $2.20 billion in 2023, an increase of 35.68%, guys. Looking at the revenue for Renault, guys, in 2023 was $52.3 billion. Gross profit at $10 billion. Net income is positive $2.1 billion. The cash is positive $21 billion. Total assets $121 billion compared to $66 billion for the total debt. Not bad though, very manageable. The free cash flow, guys, was positive $1.3 billion. Overall, I understand the Japanese automakers are probably, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, the best cars you can buy. But Japanese automakers, guys, are getting squeezed out of Europe through regulations and all that stuff. Suzuki is basically, yeah, unless you could buy a Honda, but those are expensive. Like, I'm focusing strictly on the $19,000 to $25,000 range, which is where more people buy, where more cars are being sold. So you can scratch Honda out, you can scratch Lexus out, and you're left with Suzuki. But Suzuki is struggling to sell, even though I think it's a great car, right? Mitsubishi, I already explained what happened with that. Something else to think about is Renault Group implementation of share buyback program, which was announced 26 days ago. And Renault backed Bianca plans to build Hong Kong's first EVs. Another move. They're actually, like I said, they have the Ampere Pure Play EV for Europe, Geely partnership, and then the Bianca, right? Awesome. I conclude with the following. The Renault is a car manufacturer that provides the best value for money in cars in Europe. I would go in details to show all the car brands from all the other, like Stellantis and Volkswagen Group, compare them with all the cars for Renault, but that would be like a car shopping video review, so I didn't do that. If you want, you can look it up. You can see, guys, that they do offer the best value for money, more for less. The company is in good financial shape, profitability, they're profitable, share repurchase program, stock is undervalued. the EU market has cornered in a way and made it so European car companies are benefiting more than anybody else. I don't know if that's fair trade, but it is what it is. And so with that being said, for those who are investors in Renault, already for the past year, they're already seeing positive over 20% return on their investment. And I think that it will continue that way. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. And I wish you guys all the best. Take care.